What's up, Mob? Hey, how we doing? So, Tomac, he's in a real situation this weekend. Did Jett silence the crowd, or are they going to boo him twice as hard? You tell me. Sophia is back, Sophia Phelps, to talk concussions. And I have a real problem with the Glendale track. I think it sucks. Guys, please check and see if you've been unsubscribed. It's been happening to a lot of people. You're not unsubscribing, it's just automatically doing it. So if you could resubscribe, I'd appreciate it. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thanks, guys. Let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So Eli Tomac, he had one of his famous go backwards rides. This isn't something new. It's not something out of the ordinary for Eli. We've seen this happen on multiple occasions. When he's not comfortable, when he gets arm pump, he doesn't keep pushing. He rides within himself and rides out and gets a 10th or whatever he needs to get to salvage the night. With that said, we're getting pretty far into the season here. Now, Glendale, he's been historically good. It's very close to where he lives. The crowd in Arizona loves him. He's good on that dirt. For whatever reason, he's had a really, really good history in Glendale. So I want to see if he does not show me something this weekend, if he's kind of in a must win. Not that you really ever have to have a must win when you're that high up on the all-time wins list. What is he, like third? Yeah, there's no such thing as a must win for a guy with 2 championships who's third on the all-time list. But if he wants to be in this title hunt in 2024, Eli Tomac has to be in the mix for the win, or at least run fast and show us he can win at this venue. Because if he can't do it here in Glendale, I don't think anywhere besides Daytona, he won't get it done. That's just where he's at in his career right now. And this is a big, big weekend for Tomac fans. We're going to find out if he's hitting the twilight. Is he hitting the Chad Reed years where you kind of just gradually slide back and hang on as long as you can? Which, hey, if that's where he's at, I don't have a problem with it. Tomac, stay out there as long as you're having fun, as long as you're making money, as long as he's around, I'm a fan. So stay out there as long as you want. But his days as a championship contender, I think we're going to find out this weekend if they're over. So last week when Jett came across the finish line, he gave the shh to the crowd. He told everyone, quiet down. My demise have been greatly exaggerated. Well, have they? I don't know. This weekend, we're going to find out how the crowd feels about that. Are they going to boo? Are they going to cheer? I don't know. It's a very, very pro-Tomac crowd in Arizona. How did they take his antics when he finished in Detroit? I loved him. I absolutely loved it. And people will come back around on Jett no matter what. By the way, I want to thank all my Australian viewers because you guys have the top 2 cities on my list. So thank you guys for watching the videos. And I'll tell you what, this weekend is it's going to be interesting. I'm listening. When Jett comes out, I'm going to be listening. Boos or cheers? What do you think we're going to get? I think we're going to get some boos, but not many. I think it's just a certain amount of hate just because, let's be honest, if he gets out and wins this weekend, I mean, he's basically served notice. Yeah, those were a couple of the flukes. He's had all those horrible things happen to him this year. He got into it with Anderson. He had 2 mud races. And guess what? He's only 1 point out of the lead. Sexton, he has got to show some speed. We shall see. If you've had a concussion or fighting some illness, head over to the Coach Rob store. He's got supplement packs to help you recover from a head injury and also from illness. So check out the CoachRobStore.com. If you want your garage to look like a Barrett Jackson showroom, hit up Epic Garage Designs. Or if you just want to get organized, there's all sorts of stuff ranging from entry level to make your garage into just this dream palace. So hit up Epic Garage Designs. So I hate basing a track and how it's going to race off of the track map because rarely do they actually look like the actual track map. But those of you guys that have been watching for a long time, you know how much I despise like dogleg turns or angled turns in a straightaway, just slight angles. All that promotes is single file racing. You can't set somebody up. A lot of times these guys, when they set up these passes, they don't make the pass right when they make it. They make it 3 turns before setting up, go a little outside, a little inside. The problem when you have straightaways like they have at Glendale, this big, long stadium where they're just angling them. So you angle them, and it forces the riders, particularly in rhythm sections, to single file, because you can't go side by side or you'll get chopped and you run the risk of cross jumping. They're bad. They're horrible for racing. I don't know why that nobody is pointing this out to the track designers. Literally, on paper, this might be one of the worst designs I've ever seen. They have this gigantic stadium floor in Arizona, yet they're trying to use it all. And they put more emphasis on using the floor than they did into the actual racing action. I don't like it. We'll see how it races. And some of the guys at Dirtworks, they're really good at recognizing this early, and maybe they'll throw a different obstacle to force inside-outside action. And that's what I'm hoping for. And that's why I don't want to judge it 100% off the track map. But whomever did this track map, you don't know racing. And I'm disappointed. And gosh, come on, man. You guys got to do better than this. Dog legs. I understand some stadiums you have to have a dog leg. But what you do is you promote single file racing. Don't do it anymore. Hey guys, if you want to get a shirt like that's the bad guy shirt, red pill shirt, some Let's Go branding goggles, hit up Strapped at ridestrapped.com. If you're shipping anything using a truck, use Precision Transport. They love the sport of motocross, and they're a great company. Customer service and affordable prices. So hit up pretransport.com. This is also a huge weekend for the HRC team. You know, they've got their 250 guys, Joe Schmoda, Chance Hymas. Hymas looked like he almost got a podium last week, and then he really fell off at the end. They haven't got a podium other than Jett. Can anyone else get on the podium? I don't think Hunter can. So that leaves Joe Schmoda, who was paid to win. This guy was brought in to win races, and he's yet to see the podium. This is Joe's 5th race on Team Honda, and he's going against 3 guys who are really, really good. You've got Levi Kitchen, Nate Thrasher, and then you've got Jordan Smith. Can he get in between those 3 somewhere and take points away from one or the other? Because they're in a really tight battle for this championship. And essentially, I mean, I'm not going to say Joe's out of it, because you're never really out of it in this sport, but it's a really, really steep climb. And he's going to have to get some luck and go on a big run to make this thing, to get what he was hired to get. He was hired to get a championship. Last year, Honda won every championship except for the Super Motocross Championship, which Hayden Deegan grabbed. So they're probably not real happy with Joe right now. There's a lot of pressure on him right now to perform. And if he can't get it done, they're not going to fire him. But I'm sure he's feeling the heat right now. That's got to be a rough feeling, coming back to the truck, knowing that bike won last year, and he can't even get it on the podium. So I did that last video, or a video a couple ago, about concussions. It's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I get a little one-tracked. Sophia Phelps, who's probably a lot smarter than me, is breaking this down in some numbers, and she had some thoughts on concussions. So check out what Sophia's got to say about concussions.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and today I'd like to discuss with you concussions in Supercross and Motocross. There are between 4 and 6 million sports-related concussions in the U.S. annually, and I'm sure motocross probably takes up a decent chunk of those, which is an unfortunate reality of our sport. So what I'd like to kind of ponder on today is, we know that it's bad to ride with a head injury, and we know that each further concussion makes us more susceptible to additional concussions later on. So why are athletes so insistent on continuing to injure themselves in this way? In the sense that athletes often conceal their symptoms or lie about how they're feeling so that they can perform and race and compete. There's one study that I read recently that I'd like to talk about, and it was published in the Journal of Head Trauma Rehabilitation. It was done at the University of Pittsburgh and then a couple of other large universities. They took over 100 athletes who had taken themselves to hospitals after concussions with all about the same level of concussion, split them into 3 groups. The first group were those that removed themselves from activity immediately. The second group are those who stayed in activity for up to 15 minutes. And then the third group is those that stayed in activity for more than 15 minutes. What they found using impact testing, which is just a cognitive concussion test, so they can tell when someone is back to normal and ready to go again when their head is completely healed. The group who was removed, immediately they had a 19-day recovery. The group who was still in activity for up to 15 minutes had a 28-day recovery, and the group who stayed in for over 15 minutes had a 44-day recovery, which is a little bit crazy to think about. Is that, you know, in our sport, say you crash on the first lap and then you finish off your moto, you're doubling your recovery time potentially. That's just, it's really interesting statistic for me to look at. So some things that we can maybe consider from this is that a lot of athletes are saying, okay, I have to do this for myself, for my team, for my sponsors, for whoever it is, when in the long run you're actually hurting all of those parties because you're not healing as quickly, so you can't perform as well. As we know, your performance takes a huge dive when you have a bad concussion because your balance is off and your thinking is off. You can't watch things come at you as quickly. So there's so many things that that concussions harm when you have one. So my question for everybody is, should we and could we improve concussion testing in our sport? What could we do to make this safer for everybody and have healthier athletes whose careers can last longer and be faster and stronger?
Remember, if you need a real estate agent in Las Vegas, I'm your guy. I will help you out. I will find you the place you're looking for. I will sell your house, whatever you need. I'm your guy. If you're anywhere in the country, please hit me up. I can find you an agent in your area and help them find you a place or sell your place. So anyway, hit me up, chriscookseymedia@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.